We are wrecking right in there. Hello, from London. Welcome to the Broskiedoodles Podcast, the best podcast in all the land. If you haven't reviewed it on iTunes Podcast, please do that. If you haven't followed me on iTunes and Spotify, please do that. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTubes, what the fuck are you doing, man? Support your homie. I'm not even gonna lie here and be like, so that you get reminded because YouTube's gonna remind you if you're already watching this. They should. But this is to help me, motherfucker. Help your fellow podcaster get further, get farther. Why bother? All right. We got some interesting topics happening recently. And I wanted to touch on these, see what you guys thought about it. See if you had any comments. Let me know. I'm here to answer your queries. Hello. So the new thing that came out, and this is a funny topic for me because I know that when it comes to self-repair, auto-repair programs for different electronic equipments that come out, it's normally bullshit, right? So listen up. This is sort of the headline on the news. Meet your new iPhone repair person. You. Apple to roll out a self-repair option. Now, the reason why I laugh at this thing a little bit, right, when I saw it is because I personally follow a lot a movement that is called Right to Repair. I would assume in the Twitter world, it would be the hashtag Right to Repair. And this is your right to repair anything that you buy. You know, back in the day, in the good old America, you know, but generally everywhere in the world, whenever you bought something, it came with instructions, it came with schematics, right? Schematics are the map of an electronic equipment that lets you know, okay, this little chip here is meant to do this, and this little cable or routing thing brings electricity to this thing, and this has this amount of volts. So pretty much it explains to you, it gives you a guide for the people that are a bit more tech savvy to understand how to manage this device and do anything that you needed to repair. Back in the day, they even gave you instructions on the different things that you bought so that you could repair it yourself. And it was a very actually harmonious system because the companies would sell each of the components that were inside the finished product so that whenever something failed, you could actually buy the small little piece that it was missing and repair your product. And it was beneficial to both parties, to the customer because well, you didn't have to buy a whole new equipment. You could just buy the little piece that got fucked up, replace it yourself, and boom, you have a working device again. And for the company that sold you it, well, they are always winning because even though they sold you the full device at one point, they keep selling you the repair things so that you could... So, you know, you could see how both are benefited. But what happens is as time went on, they got a little greedy. And they're like, well, instead of fucking selling the little things that they could repair it with, fuck them. Just have them buy the new one because fuck them, right? Now, there are other factors that come into play. So I'm going to play a little bit of the devil's advocate here. What's that other factor that comes into play? Well, as technology got better, it got more compact, and it became less beneficial to do things in a modular way. What does that mean? Well, in the past, you could literally disconnect each component, right? Like think about it like as a computer. If you ever build a PC, but you have the motherboard, then you have the chip that you put in it, then you have which is the processor, then you have a graphics card that you connect to it, and you have different things, the memory, the RAM, you all connected to the motherboard, and it's a very modular experience. That's why I like PCs that you build today. This is not the case with Apple PCs because everything is soldered on into one large piece so that it's very hard to repair, right? So think about it this way. Think about a device that every component you can literally plug out and exchange for another of those components. That makes it so that it is very malleable and very easy to work with and repair because each of those components you can test and take out and replace. Now, if the whole device is all together in one piece, then you're kind of fucked, right? And to give you an example of this is, I don't know if you ever remembered TVs that came with like a little VHS included. They were actually pretty weird, but it was like a TV, you know, the big ass ones that had the big butts, and then it had integrated a little hole for the cassette, and it was also a VHS. I was alive and thinking already at the time when these things existed, and I used to think to myself, imagine the mindset that I had back then. This is how hardcore I am with right to repair. This is how hardcore I am with like analyzing shit. Back in the day when I was still like a 12-year-old or maybe less, I used to look at these TVs that had the VHS integrated, and I was like, I don't like that, because if either one of those things gets fucked, then I'm kind of stuck with this half-assed piece of the equipment. Meaning, if the VHS got fucked on that device, I could use a TV, but now I'm fucking stuck with this bundled piece of shit that makes it larger for no reason, because I cannot even use the VHS. And if it's the other way around, it's even worse. Let's say the TV gets fucked. Now you have a very expensive enlarged VHS. So to get to the point of this is, I thought to myself, no, it's better to just get a TV, separately get a VHS. If any of those things get fucked at any time, I could repair them independently. So that's the idea that I have, and a lot of people have, because it makes sense, right? If you have a device that instead of it all being stuck together, it was all modular. So that's what modular means. Modular simply means that it has modules that you stick to it to make the larger thing, but you could always take off those modules and replace them. That makes it easier to repair, but as technology got better, they were able to save space if you made it non-modular. Why? Well, because if you could solder, and I hope I'm saying this fucking word right, but it's when you grab, this little metal, you heat it up and you stick things together, right? So instead of making it with connectors that you can stick in and stick out, you just solder all the points together. And yes, there is an argument for how that saves some space and can make things cheaper. But the problem is that with that excuse, they've made everything non-modular these days, so that it is harder and harder for you to repair things, obligating you to simply buy the next one. And if I have never owned an Apple product, but I was a proud owner of the original iPods. So I did. I'm sorry. But no iPhones, no iMacs, none of that. I'm an Android and PC guy. Are you a poor person, Kiko? Yes, I am. But that's not why. Okay? I could spend $1,500 on an iPhone, or I could fucking build a badass PC. Can I take the PC places and call people? No. Are you a fucking idiot for that? Yes. I have an Android phone that cost me $200. It's better than I could ever dream in a phone. All right. Anyways, so Apple passed an information, right? And again, I'll remind you of what the headline was, at least in this news source that I use. Meet your iPhone repairs person. Why are you pronouncing that so bad, Kiko? Were you taught English correctly when you were younger? Are you ever gonna speak English correctly, you piece of shit? Let me try that again. Meet your new iPhone repair person. That sounded a lot better. That sounded like the type of shit you will use in an ethnic commercial. And I'm like, whatever, I'm like the host, Juan or Pedro. Hello, welcome to Apple. Meet your new iPhone's repair person. Yes, I am the one. I was hired due to, quotas that they had. So I'm like, I'm the exotic Latin person here at the store. So you Apple now will be able to self-repair your own phone. So apparently they're offering for people like, hey, if you buy an iPhone 12 or 13, which are the newer ones, I believe, you can actually repair shit yourself. You don't have to now bring it to us and then we tell you, you have to buy a new phone, but it's only the screen that's fucked or the audio jack doesn't work, but you have to buy a new phone. Instead of that, they are advertising that you will be now able to fix that. Now, I found this to be a little hard to believe, because I've been following Apple's sort of story when it came to right to repair. I follow this guy on YouTube that has millions of views. His name is Louis Rossmann, and that's how the YouTube channel is called. He actually owns a business where he repairs Apple products, and he's one of the best in the US and in the world. You can send shit mailed in if you don't live in the same state. He's in New York, I believe, but anyways, he's a great guy. If you have Apple products, he fixes them, but he also criticizes how Apple makes it really hard for you to be able to get the components that you would need to fix them. Because normally, when you go to the Genius Bar in the Apple store, they just are always gonna push you to just buy a new one. Like, let's say buying the new iPhone that you have is $900. They'll be like, well, you can fix it, but it will cost $750. Or you could just buy a new one for $900, and we'll take in the one you have. So it's all kind of like a little scam. But at the end of the day, bro, it is a free market. If they want to decide to run their business that way, I understand how we can criticize it. But well, that's their business. Now, this guy Louis Rossmann, he pushes really hard for right to repair, and he says that you can watch the whole video on his channel. I'm just going to give you a sort of summary of what this means. Is that you're able to repair things like the screen with this new program. It was a screen and I don't think even the camera. It was just the screen and the charging port, right? But everything else, like if anything else got fucked, you're stuck in the same situation. So pretty much a lot of times when iPhone comes out, and with a lot of companies, not just iPhone, I don't want to just talk shit about iPhone, because I mean Apple makes a lot of good products, but I do gotta speak on the realness of some of these things, right? But it's a lot of companies. In the farming world, you have John Deere, who also does this shit where, like, instead of making it easy for you to just buy a component to fix your tractor, They make it so that an authorized person has to go there and approve it, and it takes time and it's all bureaucratic. I mean, if you want to learn about right to repair, I don't want to be the one explaining it to you in depth, because I'm fucking stupid and I don't have the knowledge nor the IQ level to be able to convey the information correctly to you. But if you just search right to repair in YouTube, you're going to find thousands of videos on it. My favorite guy that talks about this is Louis Rossmann. He talks about it more in the sense of as a repair person for Apple. So there's other people that have maybe more expertise in the farming world, so they know about the John Deere tractors. And it's funny because a lot of these companies started making things like I was explaining at the beginning, like John Deere tractors. You could back in the day buy the piece that got fucked, and they were very reliable tractors that lasted many years. But it almost seems like now they just want to make you spend money on the new one. And it's like, man, when you own something, and this is to conclude on this topic, right to repair, when you buy a product, you should own every aspect of that product. You should own the right to repair that product. And the company should have, and this is what right to repair is, should have an obligation to at least not make it hard for you to do this. You should be able to have to provide, or at least not get in the way of me obtaining the components that I will need to fix this. Ideally, you should just sell them to me and you make money too. But in any case, let me know what you guys think. If you've never heard of right to repair, this might be a new topic, so I really want to hear your opinion. If you have heard of this before, I want to know your more expertise opinion as well. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic, because I could stay on right to repair forever. I could probably stay on the next topic forever as well. Okay, because we're gonna talk about Britney Spears. All right, she's free right now. # free my girl. Okay, free my girl. I mean, oh my god. No, but I have followed on previous podcasts a bit of what has been happening with Britney Spears, I just found that it was very interesting. Nobody was really aware, except if you were like a big fan of what was going on with her life. That she, for the last 10, 12 years or more, she's been pretty much owned by her dad. And unfortunately, apparently her dad is a piece of shit, that made it so that she couldn't really have a life, And you know what I find positive about this whole thing? It almost feels like in the last 5 years or so, the push from the people in the social media has gotten bigger and bigger. Also, the documentaries that came out helped. And I feel like that whole public push was what helped in the legal side for the courts to sort of realize, hey, this is a fucked up situation here. We're going to free her. It's not crazy to think that. It's almost the more logical thing to think, because for so many years, she had not been able. I mean, I don't know what were her efforts of trying to get out of this, so to speak, contract, right? Of this tutorship, or what is it they call it? Conservatorship that she had with her father. So I don't know how hard she tried in the past, but I don't think it's a coincidence that she got freed after, okay, maybe I said 5 years just in total, but let's say in the last 2 years, it's been real hard like where a lot of people that don't even are fans of free. Like I don't listen to Britney Spears. Back in the day when Britney was, because I'm from the days of Britney, right? I mean, she was amazing, beautiful. But I was more of a Christina Aguilera guy. I know, hard to believe. You look at me and you're like, he's a Britney guy. But no, I was a Christina Aguilera guy. But today, if you compare both of them, I'm Team Britney. Just because Britney seems a little more real now. Today, in today's world, Christina Aguilera, I see her. I mean, I don't want to say anything, but she seems more aesthetic. She seems more aesthetic. And I'm like, and I feel like Britney's more like, hey, I'm 40-something-year-old, but I'm still beautiful, But I am who I am. And she does her crazy dances on Instagram. I don't know. I like that little feistiness, that cuckoo-ness. In any moment, she could flip out. But I'm just happy that she's free. I know this sounds very like what's that fucking show? T Times or T, the fucking thing where they're always like finding out shit about celebrities. But just talking about Britney Spears feels very like like I'm on some Hollywood show talking, But I just think the concept of how she was incarcerated by this piece of paper, and ultimately it had to do with the decision of one doctor that said, hey, we don't believe she's able to make decisions on her own, and she's dangerous to herself and others. So we're gonna take the right to decide for yourself away. That's insane. Because then if you cannot make right decisions as per the court, then how do you even hire a lawyer? Because hiring a lawyer involves you making a decision. So, it's sort of like a catch-21 where when you're stripped of those rights, it almost makes it impossible for you to obtain them again because you have lost the rights to argue with the court, pretty much. But thankfully, this got fixed, and I do believe that it had to do a lot with the push from the people. I think I talked about it for sure. I saw the things, and it really put it all in perspective. And again, it has something to do with her as an artist and her music, which I do respect. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I do respect it. But just the concept that nobody really knew about this in the past, that somebody could own your life like that. I mean, this is insane what she was going through, and everybody watch out, because now that she's free, she can actually speak. If you thought in the past we saw some things, just remember she couldn't really express herself fully. So now you better believe there's gonna be some documentary coming out on Netflix or some of these platforms that she's gonna be a part of, and she's gonna explain things, in the past, how her dad was, why her mom didn't get as involved. Her sister, I think, talked a little shit, so maybe she will address that. And it is Hollywood shit. It is vanity, but it's also real. Like this is somebody that was in a lot of people's life, even if it was just in the vicinity of your eyes. But she was part of the culture that I grew up in. When I grew up, you had on one side the hip hop part. You had Eminem. In my case, Bone Thugs, Harmony was Outkast on one side. You had on the other side Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. So they were part of the whole thing. On the other side, Nelly, Twista, what's this guy's name? Mystical. You got some fire shit, But in all genres of music, and I'm missing a lot of stuff, but put it in the comments if you remember. This is early 2000s. She was part of the culture. Even if you weren't part of what she was talking about, if you went to school, you saw girls that looked up to Britney Spears, to Christina Aguilera. So to me, Britney Spears is a lot. It's a lot of where I come from. In the sense of, I remember seeing her in MTV, seeing her things, and to have so many years pass and not even be knowledgeable about the situation she was going through. It's pretty crazy, But anyway, she's gonna be able now to drive her own car, which apparently wasn't, something that she was able to do before, which I think is insane. She wanted to have a kid with her boyfriend, but she couldn't because they also controlled her ability to have a baby and procreate, which is insane. So maybe she's gonna have a new kid now, and she's gonna enjoy it in a different way. People don't remember when she went crazy back in the day. She was actually she had a kid, And a year after, she had another kid. And this is things that you learn later in life. But for people that already have kids, you know how insane having one kid will leave you and your couple, right? Like it's a crazy endeavor. And after the first year, which is one of the most intense ones, because it's when the kid is the most useless, if you have another kid and then she has problems with the parents of the kid, so she has to take care of them, and then she has paparazzi, and then she has people saying she's crazy, and then she has the pressure of the media. I mean, you could understand how she went crazy, and you could understand that she might have not had the best experience raising her kids, because it's not all about money. If you have pressure, stress, and things that make you unhappy in life, money cannot fix that. So maybe now she's in a stage in her life, more mature, free, right? Because now she's not incarcerated by this. I mean, I would call it a dictatorship, but it's a conservatorship. I think she'll be able to enjoy having a kid now a lot more. And she'll enjoy her children now that they're grown, and she could, I don't know. I mean, I just hope the best for her, because I think that would be so frustrating to be in a situation like that, to be in a world where you control everything. It's like a Black Mirror episode on the reels, you know. But in any case, Team Britney, free my girl. Well, she's already free, but make her, get a residency in Vegas, make it pop. I gotta go see you, whatever. Okay. Next thing I wanted to speak to you guys about. We spoke this on the last episode, and this is just like a little update. And a discussion more on the legal side of things. So the headline that I read said, full court press, lawyers are coming hard for the assets of Thomas J. Henry, aka Travis Scott. Well over $1 billion in lawsuits in motion. So in the last episode, we talked about what happened on the Travis Scott concert. I don't know if this update had been already on the last episode, but as of now, 10 people have unfortunately passed away from this, from the events of the Travis Scott Astro World festival, where people got trampled. We talked about this on the previous episode, so this is more of an update, because now all these families are, they're coming with lawsuits for the artists. And we talked about how, where does the responsibility lie? And in this situation, I mean, I've said this in the past, I don't know how much responsibility you can really put on Travis. I do understand that from what people say, allegedly, he didn't stop the concert after knowing that things were happening. But, one thing that we spoke about is that you don't really know how these concerts are. Maybe they're used to people always pass the fuck out. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. This is going to mark a precedent for the future of how these festivals are going to be handled in a legal way. And I just don't, because imagine how many people would you need to have on security to really take care of these situations. If people go crazy and it's that amount of people, I mean, what do you need? You need one security guard for each person? I mean, it's a bit insane, because these mass events, I mean, I've said this before, I don't think I'll be, even before this happened, I already just wasn't in the vibe of like going to a mass event like this. Especially when it's music that makes people rage, which, I mean, Travis Scott, I think it's not something that I listen to on a daily, but it's cool. But apparently the younger kids really rage and go crazy for this shit. And I feel like an old motherfucker talking about this like this, but so, I mean, but back to the legal part. $1 billion and more in lawsuits. I mean, this is a fucked up situation for Travis. He's going to have to spend a lot of time and money to, go through these things. I mean, I think at the end of the day, this is really just going to be more of a situation where the families are going to get a lot of money, and that's not going to obviously fix the pain that they have, but they are in the right to pursue that. Obviously this is an opinion from somebody that knows nothing about, the specificity of the law, but I don't think he's gonna go to jail. And I mean, I just don't see how he could be held responsible, when he's the artist, I think they're gonna allege that a lot of this has to do with the organization of the event. I think it's Live Nation, and I don't think they're gonna be able to hold him accountable, just because I just don't see it. I just don't see it. However, this might change the way insurance policies and different organizational logistics are handled in this type of festivals. It's probably going to be more expensive to go to this festival because they're going to have more security. They're going to have to be in venues where they can make sure nobody sneaks in, because part of why there were so many people at this place was because a lot of people snuck in. So I think this is going to be a precedent on how this is handled in the future, just like the whole Alec Baldwin case that we spoke about, where we said, movie sets are going to change. There's probably going to be different regulations now, which sucks because movie sets and many industries are already regulated a lot. So this kind of, I do understand, but it's just sad because it adds more cost. And with the festivals, it's sort of the same thing, right? Like, the more security, the more logistics you need to take care of the situations when these festivals happen. That's going to introduce to more costs. That's going to introduce to the tickets being more expensive. In any case, I don't plan on going up to these things anyway, so I'm not here crying about the price, but it is a reality, that things are going to change, I think, for festivals in the future. And maybe they're going to make it so that artists in the future do have to have a responsibility of calming people down, when this happened, I saw a lot of videos of like Linkin Park and who else, like System of a Down, I think. Like many of these bands back that were big, they showed videos where they were in a situation where the crowd was going a bit crazy, and they sort of like, hey, stop the music. They were like, hey, everybody, let's calm down, let's chill, we're having fun. And I don't know, I think that's I don't think that's completely out of the question. Like I can understand the argument on how that's something that should be available as a tool, at least, like, hey, if you're the artist and at the moment we see things going crazy, please calm things down. And artists have done this in the past, so it's not something that's new. But yeah, I really want to know what your opinion is on how we should manage this type of festivals, because I cannot find the answer really, because when I used to go to these festivals, for some reason I just didn't feel like people would go crazy like this, But then again, when you're younger, things just seem better and less frightening. So who the fuck knows, But I want to know your opinion on how we can make it so that these festivals are still viable. They can still be made, but you can know that you're going to be safe. Especially with a lot of these people that passed away, unfortunately, were very young people, And when you're a parent and you send your kid to a certain event, how safe should they be? I think it's a topic that's important to look into, and I want to see what you guys' opinions are on these matters, on the Britney Spears, on the Apple repair. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments. Share the thing. Fucking show some love, okay? Stop being fucking somebody that just puts all the things inside and you don't share the love. Write a letter. Send it to me. Better to write it on the fucking comments because it's digital. Thank you for tuning in, guys. It's always fucking grand to be here with the Broskiedoodles. I love you. Take care. And tune into the next episode. Or just watch one from the past if you haven't seen it. Take care.